Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, rather afternoon, everyone. We are here for Tier 2, Round 4 at China. One of the very interesting tracks, of course, as you can see in the background video, that turn 1 is going to be quite tricky, obviously. But before we get further on with all of the track-related stuff, of course, joining me today is Ashray in the commentary, and of course, our live streamer today is Sir SSJassassin. Ashray, what are your
Yes,
thoughts on this track before we get started?
I think it's a very interesting track. I personally don't think it's my favorite, but I think there's many people in the grid that really like this track as it's a very challenging track and it's genuinely fun for people who want to just hot lap around the track. It's a very interesting and a unique track.
Certainly, well, the tire was going to be quite high, so that's one thing the drivers will obviously have to look out for. But of course, before we get on to the racing action itself, let's quickly have a look at the track map, which will give us a lot more details about this track. As you can see, 5.4 kilometers long, 16 corners. Turn 1's divided into 2 corners, which is a bit weird, but it is what it is. 2 detection zones, 2 DRS zones, 2 very long straights as well. Loads of elevation change that will put the driver's tires as well as their skills to the test.
Alright then, let's go for a lap on board Tier 1 driver Ashray around the Shanghai International Circuit. DRS open across the line as we head towards an interesting turn 1, which slowly curves inwards and tightens as the corner goes by. Put a lot of emphasis on engine braking here rather than braking itself. Turn 2 and turn 3 are important traction zones. Short shift to get the best exit towards the first major overtaking zone going into turns 5 and 6. Hard on the brakes halfway into the curb, turn in, short shift on exit and aim for a good exit here as well. Then we come through turn 7, a long sweeping left-hander. You could try to take the curb on the inside, but it could spit you out violently. Coming through turn 8 and turn 9s and 10 is a double left-hander, a difficult corner to get right and important to get the line right through here to avoid bottoming out on the curbs. Turn 11 is a good overtaking zone as we head into sector 3. Then we come through another crucial traction zone. Turns 12 and 13 are very important to the whole lap and sets you up perfectly for the long back straight, one of the longest on the F1 calendar. As we head down the back straight, DRS open, you're reaching speeds of 330 kilometers an hour as you're coming into the braking zone of turn 14. Brake at the end of the curb on the left. Try to get a nice apex through here, run wide on exit a little bit to get the best possible traction, open up the corner. Turn 16, aim to clip the curb a little bit on the inside, don't run too wide on the outside, and that is a lap of China.
Amazing hot lap there, Ashray.
Yes,
Quite
I
a
would like to
quick
say
one.
so myself.
Of course you would. But yeah, we're just waiting for the drivers to quickly ready up before we get into qualifying. I will remind all of the viewers, of course, that it will be a normal weekend, no sprint races, so it'll be a short qualifying, which is 18 minutes long, with a 50% race. And the tire strategy here, of course, you could go two ways, but one is very risky here, and one is very safe, but is kind of the meta. And the meta one of obviously being the hard medium strategy, whereas the very risky one being the medium hard strategy. Which do you personally think, Ashray, would be the best for these drivers to take, regardless of where they're starting, or perhaps including where they're starting, because that also kind of plays to, the strategy and what they might want to do throughout the race?
I think it genuinely depends. I think these drivers here, unlike Tier 1, I think they'll try to go for the medium hards because I feel like they might expect a safety car. And if there's an early safety car around lap 10-ish and you're on the mediums,
Yep.
it's prime strategy for you. But whereas for the people on hards, it puts them in a tough spot.
That's completely true, honestly. The safety car chances are quite high in this track. And here's the weather forecast. Cloudy throughout, no rains. However, who knows, maybe it might change, maybe it won't. This game is very RNG, to be honest. So nothing is guaranteed, but I do believe we do have the standings. As I say that, you can see driver standings. Deepakraj in P1 with 65 points, followed very closely by Ink, as well as ABD. Pretty much all of the top four are very close in contention for that P1. You can see the next 5 drivers Heisenberg and P6, Dark Knight P7, Ajax P8, and well, you saw the other order, but yeah, you can see the field is still close. Everyone's still well within the contention to win the WDC here. You can see Arnav Goswami, Saldi Sunny, two reserves, hence why they have the F1 logo next to the name. So pretty much everyone who has raced so far has scored points, which is a pretty good look on these drivers considering how close the field is. Moving on to the constructor standings, Red Bull leading by not by 12 points, not a big margin, but Mercedes is in P2 with 90. And let's see, we do have both the Red Bull drivers here who've been very consistent themselves, hence why they are leading the championship right now. As far as the Mercedes drivers go, Faizan as well as Jose, they're both solid midfield drivers. Faizan on his day is a solid contention for top 3, but it just happens that sometimes both of them, have unfortunate races. They get into incidents a lot more, and that is why they're trailing behind on Red Bull with those points.
P2 is still a really, really good spot considering this grid is really jam-packed with a lot of talent in here. It is a really close grid as you can see in the driver standing, so I would say P2 is a pretty good spot. And to add on, I feel like if you're looking at the driver standings, do you think anyone could jump up the order going throughout the season? Many people feel like, for example, Heisenberg is really not showing his true pace.
Well, yeah. As you said, drivers like Heisenberg, pretty much any of them, all they need is one good race, that one top 5 finish, or if they're already in the top 3 in the standings, and that one more race win, and that one race where the competitors are just struggling, where they can't keep up. China is a track that does bring that sort of RNG into it, because not every driver is suited towards this track. Not every driver likes to drive on this track. So if one driver is good and the competitor is bad, and that one driver gets that good race, they could have a massive points gap with the competitors, regardless of where they are in the current driver standing.
Yeah, China is one of those tracks that can bring out major disappointments in results or even major surprises, where you can see someone who wouldn't usually win a race might somehow avoid all the incidents, time their pit stop correctly during the safety cars, and bag a win, which is what I think everyone would love to see, an interesting race.
Exactly, everyone. Well, of course, I personally would love to see domination by a driver, just so we could see how dominant they are, and what their actual skill level is. But of course, that's also kind of bad for viewing, because then it just becomes like a 2020 Hamilton type of situation.
Yeah.
But still pretty fun. The pack is still close, as you already saw in the driver standings before. Drivers are all quite close to each other, as Existence has invalidated his lap. So let's quickly move on to, I think there's a Red Bull behind him. No, never mind. But the Bulls are on an outlap. Let's promote his teammate then, FIFA Kanak. Let's see what is he doing. But yeah, as I was saying, the season's still quite young, and all it takes is that one good result for you to gain that massive lead, and the next thing you could be in contention for the WDC, as he sets the purple sector 1, but that's because nobody has set a lap time just yet. But of course, we will be keeping an eye on the lap times as people will quickly cross the line. As I say that, Alex crosses the line with 34-4. Solid banker.
Yes, like you said, the season is really young. Let's say it hasn't even started for some tiers.
Let's not go over that. But yeah, let's see. The time is setting is very close to Alex here. FIFA Kanak coming across the line now with the DRS turned on, pretty much out of the ERS. A 33-0.
Oh, that's levels. I have to say, I'm surprised that no one is doing a bank on mediums and doing two softs to save a pair of softs for near the end. Let's say a late safety car.
Yeah, I mean, as we were discussing earlier, as I had mentioned earlier, the safety car chances for this track are very high as well as very low, depending upon where the person has crashed.
Yeah.
Axel Sun goes P2. But yeah.
It's a challenging track that can catch out drivers, but at the same time, you're so far away from the barriers that you might just go off the track and not hit anything. It's a really weird track in a way.
Exactly. In corners like this, as we can see ABD going through, the walls are quite close. So if you do retire here, there could be at least a VSC coming out. As well as you can see this final corner here, if you crash out here, there's pretty much a VSC guaranteed. As ABD now goes P2, with I don't know what time, but he's about a tenth and a half away from FIFA Connect. Still very close. But yeah, as I was saying, these guys, if they crash in those specific corners, example, if someone crashes out here, they lock up, they go straight. There's not going to be anything because how big the runoff is. So it varies from corner to corner in safety car chances. So every time there's a yellow flag, I think the main goal for drivers, as I have seen, the general reaction from all of them is that they get excited, like, yo, safety car. And then, considering how this track is, obviously, I think they want to calm their nerves and stay focused on the race. And if a safety car were to come out, then, adjust your strategy or whatever it may be accordingly and not get hyped up before, because then it turns into disappointment, then you lose your concentration, and then you lose your pace at the end of the day, and then, it all goes flying into the air.
Well, people are doing the quality. Let's talk about the race start. Do you think the race start here is challenging? Even though it's not a very fast first corner, I feel that generally, if people tend to miscalculate the braking point and they understeer, then they might brake erratically, which can catch people off. What do you think about that?
That's a massive possibility. We did see quite a bit of that yesterday in our Tier 3 race, but then again, it's just the nature of the corner. It's a very, very long right-hander, that whole of turn 1. And, everyone tries to take different lines. Some people try to go wide to avoid all the carnage on the inside. Some people go on the inside to try and gain those positions. And, because of that, different people react differently. If anyone has a slight bit of wheel banging as well, thanks to these games, absolute garbage contact model, it just happens to be that, sometimes someone could spin out and that could catch a whole bunch of cars out behind them, and it could be a massive pile up. So, it just comes down to how unchaotic can you make it through, that whole of turn 1, as well as this long sweeping right-hander here as well. This traction, getting the traction down here as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's very hard to do. Whereas Speed Please, of course he's making it look easy with those soft right now. But, when you have a lot more fuel with those tires, it just becomes harder and harder to do it through those corners. And then, if anyone spins up there, and if someone was following very, very close behind, then of course, that's another 2 cars out of the race possibly.
Yeah, it will be tough for the drivers this race. It'll be really tough. I have to say, I'm really surprised that only like 8 or 9 people have set their lap so far. Is that a sign that many people are invalidating their laps?
Yeah, possibly. The track limits are very, very tricky here on this match. And, that causes a lot of people to obviously... that's Heisenberg blocked by BK19 on his lap. BK19 still not yielding. Now he yields, but Heisenberg's lap has already been blocked. That will be...
There should be a report, yeah. BK19 is clearly on out lap. Yeah, still, sets a decent lap though, P5.
Yeah, but of course he could have definitely gone a lot faster than what he did.
Luckily that wasn't his final lap or anything. I think he should still have time to set 2 laps.
Yeah, definitely. There's plenty of time left. 9.5 minutes to go in this qualifying. On board with BK19 now, looking at his lap in the Alfa Romeo. What can he do?
This sweeping left and right corner will be very tough in the race, as you're on fuel and suddenly it might catch you out. The good thing is the barriers are really far away in here, so even if you spin out, there's a low chance of your wings being broken.
Yeah, but then you also have the risk of the drivers behind, and considering how hard the close thing is, they could come hit your car, and then, there goes your wing. Yeah, staying on board with BK19. I'll take you guys over to the rest of the lap. Giving it a long sweeping right-hander here. Very, very tricky on the power again, of course, but he managed to tackle it quite well, just sticking closer to the inside. Of course, that time gain you do gain, but 2 or so times by sticking on the inside. But of course, it is a very tricky corner to pull off doing so. Coming into the last hairpin of this track, braking at about 100, going into first, or the third is recommended short shifting. The third here, short shifting fourth actually. On the power again, braking at 50 down to 4, and then turning on the DRS, and now coming across the line for P9.
Yeah, that's a pretty decent lap, but I think he's got to pick up the pace because he set a lap pretty late in the quali, and still he's only able to beat a couple of people who set the lap way earlier.
Yep.
Anyways, here is Jose Hiro on a lap, and FIFA Connect is on his second lap, so I think we can expect this to be a pretty quick lap, except that he has gotten a yellow sector for his first sector. That is very interesting. I think I made a mistake. Let's see if his other two sectors are an improvement.
Yeah, but this traffic ahead and the immediate ahead traffic being his own teammate existence who has yet to set a lap. That is a car that's pulled off. That's a Mercedes yielding way. And he's just improved by 8 tenths on his second sector. What the hell is going on? He could be on for a 32 flat here if he can absolutely nail this lap. And remember, he still has one more run to do. Now coming onto the long back straight with the DRS, where do you think? I mean, of course, he's going to be P1, but what do you think his time is going to be?
I think you're right. It can be a 32 flat. Do you think he got any slipstream off of existence? I think he could have gotten I can't remember how far away did he need to be to get the maximum effect of a slipstream. Then I think he might have gotten a pretty good slipstream off of existence. Ooh.
32A. Okay, not bad considering he did mess up his first sector and his third sector wasn't the fastest.
No, I think he messed up his final sector because at the end of second sector he was 8 tenths up. He only gained a tenth and a half on that lap.
Exactly. Yeah.
So he is about if you think about it, he is about a second in that lap if he nails his first sector and third sector.
That could be scary for the drivers, who are also competing for pole position here. As we look at a new face in the Williams, Arya Thakur, and I can confirm it is a man and not a female, as he is starting his lap now. And yeah, look at the ERS as well. That's a pretty good point that I've only caught on to now, that the ERS really drains out very, very quickly on this track. So it is very crucial for the drivers to maintain it, because obviously if you go below 30%, then you lack in engine power. Like your engine power literally, goes down. So you want to keep it somewhere between the 60 to 80 range in the race. And perhaps even more than that if you are going to get attacked by someone. As we're looking at Faizan, who I think will be pitting. Yep.
Yeah, he'll be pitting. But I think Existence is about to finish a lap behind him. Or is he also pitting as well?
No, Existence is about a lap. He is in the final sector and he is still ahead of his teammate. I think he's just put on a lot of fuel and just doing a few runs here.
Yeah, because
he's not moving on any sector.
His lap is showing that his tire is 1 lap old. Oh, okay. I think he already set a lap and is pitting after that.
Okay.
That makes sense. I think on the same lap as he was setting a lap on the same lap as FIFA Connect. That's why he didn't really move out of the way.
Yep, that could be it. Heisenberg in P10 though. He has a lot more work to do to get into the top 3. Ashray, whereas his teammate in P4 now, he is starting a new lap on fresh sets of tires. Let's see, going through the second sector.
Why does he only have 20% ERS? Did he accidentally use his ERS on his outlap?
Yeah, I think he's done that. He's backed out. He has used his ERS.
He has to be careful before he does that. I think the stewards might have to look into that. He is not allowed to cut corners like that.
Yeah, that will be a report going to the stewards. If anyone does catch it, I believe the coordinators will catch it out. So that is definitely a report coming his way. Arya Thakur, who's finished his lap while we were looking on board Shiri in P5. Not bad for his first race.
Anyways, I think it's a bit sketchy to take cuts like that because the game itself might randomly give you this and next lap invalidation. So even if you cut corners to start your next lap, it'll be invalidated.
I can confirm cutting that corner does mean you get this and next lap invalidation. Don't ask me how I know. I just know it. Anyways, well, everyone's going to be going back into the box. 3.5 minutes left. Everyone will be coming out with a fresh set of tires for their final runs. Whereas Sager is starting his final run now. He's decided to come out early. Unfortunately, he won't be getting all of the track evolution, but it is what it is. And he's going to just have to deal with it. Let's see, what can Sager do? What are your predictions for his position, Ashray?
I think he's timed it perfectly here. He is getting a very free track. He won't have any traffic to worry about. Only some cars moving around, but I don't think it'll be nearly as bad as later on. As you can see, he sets a purple sector as well, which is very encouraging. Let's see how much more time he can gain out of the remaining 2 sectors.
Oh, he just lost time there. He had to downshift mid-corner. That's not good. That's definitely not good. That is going to botch his second sector. But as long as he can keep up the pace, he could be anywhere in the top 4. As he's coming through the second sector line, yeah, he has lost time there. He's not really improving. He's not gone purple in the second sector. He's only improving by 400, so he's definitely lost a lot of time through the second sector here. Maybe
I think he's taking it very easy there.
Yeah, or he could also be on for like a very low down for setup as his teammate comes through to help him out with the slipstream.
Oh, he's getting some of the good slipstream. That was really good by his
30
team.
kph. That is a lot more than we've seen so far in the qualifying with the help of the slipstream. Seja could certainly be on for a top 4 here as he comes through the final corner, now staying in 5th gear. Very
close
on the exit there. And that's a P2, only 100th of a Deepakraj.
His teammate really did him, really helped him out there, because honestly that requires such level of coordination that he pulled off at the right time, gave him enough slipstream to really help his lap time. Let's see if he helps BK19 back again.
I think he is. That is what they've planned over here. BK19 is starting his lap. That's not going to be good for him.
No, but I think he had to pull it because I think both were too close, as you can see. I think he'll be affected in the middle sector by the dirty air.
That's also true. That's a big sort of issue as well here. But still, he did get a bit of slipstream on the main straight, so it's still a bit of time gain for BK19. We'll see where he ends up as we're looking at Ink right now in P4 in the Aston Martin. He's starting his final run as well. 1 minute to go in the qualifying before the checkered flag falls. What is he going to do for his first sector? Is he going to go purple? That is the question. He does go purple by over a 10. Someone else has snatched purple from him though. It is a Ferrari. Who could it be? I think it could be Axel Sam. Can we check?
Good shout actually. Axel Sam isn't that far away.
It is Alex. It is Alex who's behind him. He snatched away the purple sector here. Alex could be on for a pole position. I did see him grinding this track out quite a bit. So I know he does have a lot of space in him. What can he do? Can he snatch the pole position away from FIFA Canuck?
He had a purple sector for sector 1, but in sector 2 you can see him understeering a bit here and there. That has really ruined most of the gains he got from sector 1. Let's see if sector 3 can be any better.
He's going to have a bit of slipstream from Ink here though.
Whoa, he spun! Will he hit the wall? Oh, he doesn't, but I think that's his quality over nonetheless.
Yes, for sure. And well, talking about qualifying, Ink second sector, yellow sector, he's going slower than what he was.
I feel like
I think he goes P3.
I feel like people might have increased the tire pressure for banker lap and maybe kept it there for the final lap when their tires are quite hot already and maybe they're under steering due to overheating.
It could be. Anyways, FIFA connects yellow flag in the second sector as well. Ink goes P3. Everyone is going to start crossing the lines now. Sai Tarun and Deepak P18 and P19 respectively. Shows a hero P12 could not improve on his lap. Moving on board for FIFA Canuck here. Yellow flag in sector 2 as well as 3. Not sure what's happening there. But
his lap is done already. He's 6 seconds off. I think Seja could get pole unless if it's easy on a lap.
No. Let's go back to FIFA Canuck. Let's see very quickly.
Yeah, because after he finished the second sector, he was 6 seconds up. Seju just had to do one more lap. I think he also pulled off. APD is in a prime position to actually steal pole because none of the top 4 can improve now.
Yeah, but he has only gone and done a personal best in the first 2 sectors. He has to put in the sector of his life, I guess you could say it, to get that pole position. We don't know how much he's improving by just yet, but we will get to know soon. He's currently in P5, 3.5 tenths away from FIFA Canuck. Coming into the final corner, there's a car right ahead of him. Won't be much of an issue though.
That understeer.
That understeer from the dirty air. All of his deploy is used and he remains in P5.
Oh, I think he wasn't improving by much in it because I don't think he would have lost too much time as somehow he didn't invalidate there. I don't know how. But anyways, I don't think he could have improved by much. Man, I think in top 5 only Sam and Ink improved. Everyone else used. Oh, okay, that is close.
But yeah, you're saying Ashray.
I think in the top 5 only Sam and Ink improved. Everyone else I think are using their second lap to go for the quali.
That is kind of good. I mean, it's bad and good, I guess, in the same way because obviously they do need that one set of tire in the qualifying. In the race itself, in case they need it. and
Oh yeah,
it's
that's
also bad that he
definitely
couldn't
good.
improve too much. But yeah, Sam unexpectedly in P3.
Because I think say FIFA Connect is very lucky that Sager didn't improve because Sager is only the 100th off, and which he could have possibly gained very easily due to track evolution.
Well, we did see he did, make a mistake in the final corner. Perhaps if it weren't for that mistake, he could have been on pole now. But it is
Yeah.
promising to see because that just means that Sage does have a lot of pace and enough pace to perhaps contend with FIFA Canuck for the win here. Of course, not to take it away from anyone else in the top four because all of them are close enough to win here in China, which could be interesting. Not to forget though, our championship leader Deepak is in P19. He is last. So what can he do to recover on this track as qualifying is now over and the grid order is in front of you? FIFA Connect takes away pole with a 32.893. Sager only 100th behind him though. Followed very closely by Axel Sam. That is your top three. Ink is in P4, ABD P5, Heisenberg P6, Ashray P7, Dark Knight P8, Arya Thakur, New Face P9, Meroth P10, Existence P11, Sukoyomi P12, Faizan P13, and well, you saw the rest.
Yeah, a very eventful quali, as you can see. It was very, very close to the top, where people who could have improved just couldn't hook up a lap. That's the beauty of this track, where
These things P14, Josira P15, BK19 P16, Alex P17, Sai Tarun P18, and Deepak P19. There you go.
yes, as I was saying, the beauty of the track is that we can really gain a lot of time here, but it's always like a coulda, shoulda, woulda, where you could have done this, but the thing is, you just can't hook up a lap.
Yeah, I mean it is quite hard to do so, and we could be having issues here. The lobby host has left, so
well, we'll be right back.
no, let's just wait. There's no message out yet. Well, this is your usual F122 experience. Stuff like this is always
the norm.
happening.
We have accepted it as the norm.
Pretty much. Unfortunately, I don't like how we have to accept bad stuff as the norm, but it is what it is. We'd have no news about the next game either. We're only a couple months away from its expected release date, so God knows what's happening at EA HQ, but it is what it is. Talking about the race itself, it is cloudy, so the track temperature will be lower than usual. That means the tire well will also be lower than usual, but that also means the tire temperatures will also be lower. The drivers could consider increasing the pressures by a click or two.
Yeah, lap time should be a bit faster since it's lower time, so they can push harder.
That's true. That's absolutely true. And increasing the tire pressures means a bit more straight line from these guys because obviously physics. But yeah, we're just waiting on confirmation as to what to do with the lobby. Apologies for the voice crack there. I'm gonna try and get confirmation here. In the meanwhile, okay, I think yeah. So we do not have a restart, so it is the same lobby. And the timer has begun before we send the ready up message out and we get to see the action on track. Let's get your final thoughts as well as predictions for the top three, Ashray.
Ooh. I'd reckon FIFA Connect wins with... Actually, you know what? I'm going to throw Axel Sam as the winner. FIFA Connect P2. Third as Ink.
Third as Ink. Okay. Interesting.
I think Sam has been relatively quiet this season so far, but I feel like he has the potential to bag a race win here.
I mean, he could be on. We have seen personally his pace in the last couple of seasons, and he does have the potential to do it. He just has to iron out the mistakes, and yeah, he could be on for the win. I can't lie. But as far as my predictions for the top three, I would say Sager takes the win. Followed.
Okay, interesting prediction. Okay.
P2 is gonna be Deepak. He's gonna have a massive comeback.
Okay.
And P3, I'm gonna give it to Sam.
Okay, interesting. That is a properly interesting prediction. I think Deepak would love it if that happened, but yeah.
Well, Deepak's got the pace to do it. We're only 5 seconds away from finding out.
Hmm.
Well then, get your popcorns ready or whatever you want to eat, perhaps lunch ready, because we're about to go racing in just about a few seconds here. I'm gonna ignore the lights because they're usually broken.
Yeah, it's like a second or
Oh,
two.
never mind. It's lights out and away we go for the Chinese Grand Prix. FIFA connects off to a very good start. Sage are not having the best of starts here. They're already going 4 wide on the main straight. That is Ink and APD going side by side. APD has the, Ink has the inside and he's gotten up that position. Axel Sam losing out on the position himself. Not having the best of starts right now. Ink up into P3 already. Dark Knight fighting with Ashray as well as Heisenberg in that hard sandwich. Existence and Arya Thakur going side by side as Faizan gets past ABD, and that is Axel Sam going straight, and he's lost out a lot more positions. Ink having to defend off from Faizan as well as ABD at the same time. Ink under a lot of pressure trying to defend that P3. Shiva Connect pulling away already. 6 tenths gap to Sager. There's a ghosted car in the middle. Not sure who that is. Shrey falling very closely to Existence as well while we're at it. Deepak and Sai Tarun. Deepak already moving up a couple of positions himself. And this is Dark Knight who's struggling to get past Heisenberg. Most of the drivers on mediums other than the few that you can see on your screen. Deepak making sense to go into the hards because he has to play the long game in this race to try and make any sort of recovery. Arya Thakur is ghosted, and that is a spun out Merod there. I don't think there will be a safety car. I think Steel Sneeze has gone with him, so both McLarens getting spun out, and that's good for Deepak because he's moved up a lot more positions. Yellow flags in sector 3 still not cleared, and we can see Dark Knight trying to close in on Heisenberg, but Heisenberg just has a lot more straight line compared to him. Arya Thakur and Jose Hero going side by side. Arya Thakur is disconnected, so Jose Hero is going to have an easy pass and an amazing lap 1.
Yeah, that was really jam-packed lap 1. As you can see, Infraction obviously took the lead with quite easily and pulled the gap to Sager. And you can see Axel Sam losing out. I don't know how that happened. Did he lock up? Because it's well known that he runs no assists. So it's really interesting to see how he can come back from this. And as you can see, Deepak got a really good start. Gained about 4 to 5 positions on the hards as well, which is a really encouraging thing for him as he has to keep doing that throughout the race. As you can see, he's now battling with Alex and Sai Tarun. They're all in a small pack, and relatively the grid is still quite close. And you can see the biggest winner in this race start is obviously Faizan, who's gained 9 positions and is still in the fight for P1.
Certainly, and as we could see, Alex trying to defend off from Sai Tarun, but Sai Tarun making an amazing move. We can see Deepak, as you were mentioning earlier, who is on that comeback drive right now, up 4 positions. And a lot more to gain because the pack is quite literally ahead of him right now. And yeah, it's not going to be too difficult of a job. Deepak saving his ERS as well, which is a very good thing to do. I do believe we have one of the fastest drivers, the real SD, engineering Deepak here, so he is in good hands himself. And as I said, with my prediction, Deepak could be on for a top 3, but of course, long race, only 2 laps are done so far. And well, not even done. We are on the 2nd lap right now as Shrey is getting past Existence not having that straight line. But yeah, Deepak having to do a lot more work than he really needs to, and so is Alex because he has to defend down the inside of from Sai Tarun. He's trying to get that position back away from Sai Tarun, who took it earlier on in this lap, but Sai Tarun managing to stay ahead. Very good racing, but Sai Tarun goes off into the pits. He does have front wing damage, and considering he was on hards, that's his race pretty much over unless there is a safety car.
Yeah, correction, there's actually Sai Tarun defending from Alex because Alex was behind Sai Tarun who was trying to overtake him. I don't know what happened there. I think both of them might have had a contact as Alex was on the inside, so I'm guessing they both had a contact in the second last corner, which have caused some form of wing damage for Sai Tarun, which is really sad to see for him. And let's see if Sai Tarun has anything to say about it later in the reports.
Of course, that we leave it to the stewards as well as the drivers themselves to report. We can see Heisenberg in P6 in that Red Bull sandwich now. But yeah, these guys are quite close. The packs have kind of formed because Faizan is leading this train and FIFA Connect's leading the top 3 train. So the last thing these guys want to do is fight between each other as Alex gets past Arya Thakur in the back. And coming back to what I was talking about, Faizan has to do a lot more to defend off from these guys. And can we quickly go on board Faizan to check what his ERS levels are really quickly? Or not, because we can see Dark Knight getting closer and closer to Heisenberg. Heisenberg's also going to have the DRS. He has a lot more straight line as well compared to Dark Knight. Dark Knight having to dump his DRS to even keep up with Heisenberg. And he has to brake on the curve, not the optimal braking line, but where he did not have any space on the actual line itself. And we can see Faizan, yeah, he is dumping his ERS to try and stay ahead. How long will that last though?
Yeah, that I feel like you're a bit behind the pack. You might as well save your ERS, just keep fighting it throughout the pack rather than using your ERS, because that way sooner or later you will be overtaken by DRS and you won't have the ERS to keep up with the pack. So I think he has gotten his battle plan a bit wrong over there.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. He is, I mean, he's just desperate to stay ahead. Of course, in the long term, it's not going to work out. That is a lot of time loss here. As we can see, the leaders are inching closer and closer to each other. Merath going off into the pits to get his wing changed. The hards won't last until the end, but he's going to be hoping for a late safety car for a strategy to at least kind of work out. In some ways, we can see Sager and Ig closing in even more to FIFA Kanak. Can we go on with FIFA Kanak to check how he's holding up? He is down on ERS, and I think Sager might be running a bit more straight line setup, as we can clearly see as Ing's getting past him through the corners. But I'm pretty sure Sager will be coming back through the straights itself, because we did see Sager gaining a lot of time on these straights. I don't think he's dumping his ERS. And he does not have the DRS either, so that is just adding salt to the wound, but he's only half a second away, so it's not the end of the day for him.
Yeah, I think I saw him have a half spin right before the long right-hander. That's why he went a bit wide, which opened the gates of heaven for Ing to just pass right through him.
Yep, that does help, and as I was saying earlier, that long right-hander is going to be very, very tricky in terms of traction when the race does come around. And what is also coming around is ABD over Faizan going into turn 1, and they're still going side by side, going into technically turn 2 and almost hitting the rear of Faizan. They're almost breaking his wing. That's compromised his line through there, and Faizan gets to live another day in P4.
Faizan making his card as wide as possible, which is sort of the best defense you can kind of expect from someone. Which I think they both kept it really clean, as far as I could see, if I'm honest.
Well, they have kept it clean. Stuff does happen, and that just adds for more interesting racing. Of course, frustrating for ABD for sure from a driver's point of view, but entertaining to see from a spectator's point of view for sure.
From attacking Faizan, now he has to defend from Heisenberg, who seem to be really close to him now. Let's see if Heisenberg can close the gap on the long back straight.
Ooh, but he does have damage though on the front, on the left side of his wing. Heisenberg does, so it's surprising that he can even keep up with these guys. I guess it kind of helps that they are fighting. Dark Knight has a better chance now. He is even closer than he was before. Has the inside line, gets a very good exit out of the long right-hander. Is already pretty much ahead of Heisenberg. Has to use his ERS. DRS still going side by side, going into the higher pin, going into turn 15 here. Dark Knight will have to brake a lot later than Heisenberg. Has the inside line, does do that, takes the apex and is ahead.
Yeah, I think that was a relatively easy move, but here comes Heisenberg. Coming back at Dark Knight, I think he had a better exit. As you can see, Heisenberg takes the position back. Now the bad thing is that Heisenberg is doing damage, so he will be holding up Dark Knight throughout the corners, especially in the middle sector. Can Dark Knight do an overtake around the outside? No! Heisenberg defends very, very well. XSM also joining the action. As you can see, Dark Knight down the inside. What a move by Dark Knight! Wow! I think that...
the outside
Heisenberg
line
comes back again. Okay, that is really hard to commentate, I can't lie. As you can see, can Dark Knight dive down the inside here? Considering Heisenberg has damage? I think it's too far back. Yeah, look, that is a bit hard. But I think Dark Knight will get a better exit from here as he has a wider line. Does he? No.
Oh.
But Heisenberg will definitely be slower throughout here as you need downforce here.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing is also there that Heisenberg is costing himself time as well, obviously, because of that wing damage that's already adding to him. And plus him fighting Dark Knight as well as Axel Sam, that's just losing him a lot more time. And when the pit stops do come around, he's going to be further behind than these guys for sure.
He is managing his wing damage really well though. He is putting himself just within DRS. Yeah, that's also true. But yeah, I think he's just hanging himself out there hoping for a safety car, because I guess if he pits right now, that's basically sealing his race. At least I think he's just trying to finish his stint, just hold the damage and just finish his stint. I think that's what he's hoping the best for.
Well, that is what he obviously has to do because, as you said, if he does pit now, race is pretty much over. Ashray, Heisenberg's teammate, getting past Axel Sam or not. Both of them are going side by side, I think, just a bit behind them. Axel Sam has to succumb to Ashray, although Axel Sam will have the DRS, but so will Ashray. Ashray seems to be having a lot more ERS as well as a straight line in general compared to Axel Sam. This is Sam's one of the bad habits, I would say. He panics and dumps his ERS to try and stay ahead, and so his
Heisenberg down the inside.
Yep, Heisenberg will now have to, obviously, I think team orders will be coming into play here because Ashray is faster than Heisenberg right now because of the wing damage, as well as, you know, Ashray just having a lot more ERS compared to Heisenberg. ABD, he's still trying to get past Faizan. Faizan was pretty much out of the ERS, so soon we could be seeing APD making a move on Faizan.
I'm surprised FIFA Connect is holding his lead out very well. Has he ever been overtaken for P1 yet? I'm curious to see what's his ERS situation.
He has not, I don't think. He's stayed in the lead so far.
That's pretty decent ERS. As you can see, this pack is still there, led by Faizan. Both Red Bulls very close to Faizan. Let's see if Faizan will be able to defend against both Red Bulls right up in his mirrors.
Well, they're both inching in very, very quickly here. And now the DRS gets turned on. Faizan has nothing to defend himself with, and it's going to be an easy pass by ABD. Yellow flag in sector 3. BK19 has been caught out by the long right-hander's exit. Still yellow flags. Won't have any wing damage, though, probably just a spin because of how far the walls are. But yeah, something that he will have to look out for, considering his tires will be very, very hot right now as the cloud cover has gone, the sun's come back out, and that just means that the tire temperatures will be increasing once again.
Yeah, Faizan is completely out of ERS and now he's just holding back Dark Knight in the very slow sections of the corner, which he can do very well as you don't really need engine power for that.
Yep, you obviously don't. You need more mechanical grip than anything else, to be fair. But of course, these cars don't have mechanical grip, not a lot. So yeah, they will be struggling through these slow corners, especially with the dirty air. But yeah, Faizan's still managing to keep up with him, although Dark Knight is now right behind him and he's also inching closer and closer. And so is Existence on Axel Sam. Not close enough to make a move just yet though, but I think he will have to stay patient and make a move when that long DRS straight does come out very, very soon.
Yeah, I think the packs have been sort of figured out. The lead pack is Ink, FIFA Canuck, Sage. Oh, Ink took the lead, I just realized. Then the second pack is ABD till what? Joe Zero? Yeah, that's the whole pack is really, really close there. Ink to Joe, or ABD to Joe Zero.
Yeah, but I don't know how we've missed FIFA Ink taking the lead away from FIFA Canuck. But yeah, FIFA Canuck will obviously try and look to take that lead away from Ink now, as Dark Knight easily again flies past Faizan. Faizan can't do much. Although Dark Knight does go a bit wide here, but then again Faizan has just nothing to use to come back, and we can see FIFA Canuck is coming back on Ink. And he has the inside line. Ink is trying to get that switchback done. Has a bit of a moment of understeer there through the long right-hander. And of course, it is tricky. It is expected. And it has happened with the help of the dirty air. And FIFA Canuck in the lead. Sager will now be looking to try and get Ink before the skies, but they already have started dropping off. But by the time they get to the next lap or even the lap after, they're going to drop off a lot more than that. So if Sager cannot get past Ink, I'd say by this lap, then he will have to succumb to P3 and pit, and pretty much the positions won't change after that unless either of them decides to absolutely use up everything that they have to try and get past the car ahead, which of course would not make sense in the longer run.
Which lap do you think the medium runners are going to pit?
It has to be between, I'd say, lap 12 or 13.
Okay, lap 12 or 13. Do you think anyone, like especially in the front running pack, let's say Sager, do you think try to pit one lap early to get undercut on them?
No. Well, considering how much the tire wear is, you'd actually be better off getting an overcut done on this track. So, I mean, it's going to be a bit tricky because of the hards warming up. They're going to take about a lap and a half about maybe 2 laps to warm up, but well, it's still on the cards here that they do overcut at the end of the day. If they do pull off that gap, then it'll be good because the pack is still close. And that is Sager who has spun out, and that's not going to be good for his strategy because he has lost out to the top 2. His tires will be extremely hot, and now ABD will obviously be delighted because now ABD is in contention for a P3.
Yep, Sage has unfortunately fallen away from the lead pack down to the second highest pack, which is ABD and Gang.
I guess you could call it that. And what you can call Ashray doing right now is a move on Faizan around the outside. But Faizan has contact with Ashray. He understeers into Shrey's car. Does not have damage, but his front tires, look at the state of them. They're absolutely finished.
Yeah, I think his car is extremely front loaded. He's gonna have he's gonna have to pit sooner or later. Will he try to outbrake Ashray? He does. He dives down the inside. Does Ashray get a better exit? Ashray does seem to have a slightly better exit, but I think Faizan has the inside line. Or Ashray is ahead though. But Faizan have the inside line, will get this comfortably. And Ashray, I think, will have to back out unless he hits Faizan. Ashray spins out. Does he ghost in time? Or does he hit anyone else? No, he doesn't hit anyone else.
I don't think he's hit anyone else, but yeah.
Wait,
luckily,
Heisenberg also losing a lot of positions. What happened to him?
No way Heisenberg has gotten caught out by it.
Oh no, he didn't get caught. I think it's just a normal overtakes. I saw him dropping a few positions. Yeah.
Imagine, that would be a bit embarrassing, obviously. Both teammates colliding. Of course, unfortunate, but yeah, it is what it is. Ashray now has to do all of that work that he did earlier to come back into the fight. Luckily, he's still within the pack, or not. He is quite a bit far behind this pack that is fighting here. But yeah.
I really think that was really unwise of what Ashray did there. He has extremely worn tires and he's trying to hang it around the outside in one of the most high downforce parts of the track, high speed, high downforce part of the track. I think there was a lapse of judgment from him, to be completely frank.
Yeah, well, he should have broken just a tad bit earlier. Heisenberg pulling off into the pits. I think he's gone for the undercut. Yeah, he definitely has. Not recommended, but well, I think at this point with all that tire wear, he just has pretty much no grip at all. That car will be extremely undrivable at this point, I'm pretty sure.
I think I like to think differently, as you know, he's behind his whole pack. An undercut would be very helpful for him, as he'll come out ahead of the pack, and that will actually put him in a good position. Even if he has a lot of high tire wear, he can defend against most of the pack that is behind him later on in the race. That's what I would like to think, or what I like to think. Well, what I like to think that he's thinking.
Okay, well, that could happen. I mean, he has a lot of margin behind him because Miroth is almost a minute of just Heisenberg. He might get lapped soon if he's continuing at this pace, which is obviously not a good look.
But Heisenberg looks to be back into another pack actually. He's in the pack where there's Sai Tarun, Steelspeed and Heisenberg.
Yeah,
so
well,
that isn't helping his undercut efforts, I can't lie.
Forget that, it's not the pack you really want to be in, as ABD is coming in on Sager. Can we have a quick look at their telemetry as well? Yeah, thank you. He doesn't even have to use his ERS. Simple move with the DRS. Amazing one, up into P3. Next up, his teammate Dark Knight. Can he take away that P4? As FIFA Connect and Ink have pit, Alex moving down the side of Jose Hero with those hards. Those medium are absolutely finished now. Those hards are in prime position. They can go for at least another 5 or 6 more laps before they realistically have to think about pitting. You know, they're pretty much in a very set position right now. The hard runners as the medium runners will pit. Anyone who was in a pack is going to have a lot of free air ahead of them, as Alex does. Ferrari, both the Ferraris up into P4 and 5. Pretty solid comeback from them. Question is, where is Deepak? He's 7. He's still making his way up.
To say, I'm surprised there hasn't been a single safety car there, but I guess I'm not surprised at the same time because we haven't had any retirements yet in the first place, which really shows that the race has been really, really clean so far, other than people making their own mistakes here and there, nothing major.
Well, mistakes do happen. Everyone has mistakes at some point. That's absolutely fine. But yeah, no major incidents so far. Nothing. Well, we have had a few incidents, but again, as I said, nothing major, nothing too big. Quite clean driving right now, obviously, and those mediums are pretty much dead. So let's just say Deepak is net P2 in this race right now.
I would say Deepak is in a really good spot. He's not too far from the lead pack, and he's on a massive overcut strategy, which will really pay dividends near the end of the race.
Indeed, it will. I think that top 3 for Deepak is coming into play here as Arya Thakur, who is AI, is getting passed by everyone. I believe he's not able to join back thanks to EA being EA. I won't comment further, but yeah, that is ABD who's in P2 right now, looking to get that net lead as Sager has gotten past him at some point during this race, and ABD and Sager still fighting. Sager pulls up into the pits. That is why he's taking the lead. Red Bull 1 and 2 in this race. Deepak still in net P2 though.
Ink and FIFA Connect still fighting after pitting, which will definitely not be helping them, considering they have to make most of their undercut to the pack that was behind them. So let's see how this pays out.
Certainly, I think they could have perhaps tried and gone just a tad bit longer, maybe another lap longer, and the first driver to get a 3-second time penalty, Heisenberg. Actually, never mind. It was. Oh yeah, wait. Heisenberg's gone 6 seconds worth
6
of penalty.
seconds, so yeah, that means he could have gotten 3 seconds before that already.
Well, I think he was the first driver to get a 3 seconds anyway. So that's fine. But yeah, that's just rubbing salt into the wounds of Heisenberg's race. Not good for him now. He's considering how close everyone still is. Although they are in different packs, they're still quite close to each other. He's going to lose out on a lot of positions. Suko Yobi having a pretty bad exit coming out of that corner. I don't think Heisenberg will be looking to make a move just yet. I don't know why he's dumping his ERS. He doesn't really have to do that.
I think he's just focusing on getting past him as quickly as possible. But I think that'll be a bit difficult as Tsukuyumi is on fresh mediums as well. Tsukuyumi really putting up a fight here, which is definitely not helping Heisenberg and him trying to overcut the initial pack he was in. Sorry, undercut.
Yeah, I don't think he's obviously able to pull that off now. It's way too late to do that. So pretty much Heisenberg's race is, I mean, he's in the points. Remember, top 15 get points. So not for long, because considering he does have the 6 seconds worth of time penalties, he will be finishing somewhere on P16 as Axel Sam pulls up into the pits now.
Oh, that's interesting. ABD still hasn't pitted. How long is he going to go for? Damn.
He's hoping for a safety car, I think.
Yeah, Faizan is closing in on Straight. Does he send it down the inside?
No,
he doesn't. Both of these have had a very interesting race. A lot of wheel banging. Let's just keep it at that. Let's hope that doesn't happen again. But it is very likely, as this is a very challenging track to go side by side at.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Considering that Ashray is also on a controller, that does not help him out either, because it is a very wheel track. And yeah, you know, Faizan realistically should be faster than Ashray right now. But yeah, I won't blame him. It is, as you said, not very easy to get past, not very easy to follow, not very easy to battle out here as well. So, you know, Faizan struggling, especially with that ERS. After the pit stops, he's still on 10% ERS, which is a bit surprising to me. But yeah, he's going to be struggling quite a bit. And ABD, the only medium runner other than Sai Tarun, who had, but Sai Tarun did pit earlier, so ABD is the only person who has not pit yet in terms of medium runners at least.
I have to say, it looks like FIFA Connect is running really low to the ground. Is it just me? I'm surprised. He looks to be running really low to the ground, which explains his pretty decent top speed.
I mean, that Alpine in real life was running quite low to the ground. That is how they paid their cars. That is how it is in the game as well. It just looks like it's very close to the ground.
Yeah.
His right hand could be a lot higher though, but yeah, it is what it is.
I completely forget that people are running very weird front wings, especially Aston Martin is running really high on the front wing.
Exactly, and that is what causes them a lot. ABD finally pulls off into the pits now, onto the hards until the end. 13 laps. Quite easy on those hards. He can realistically push until the end with those tires.
Yeah, he does. He's basically doing half his race on mediums and half his race on hards, so which is interesting to see. But he does get easily undercut by Sager. And yeah, that is interesting to see. How much, and Sager's hards are although 2 laps older, but I don't think that should matter a lot near the end of the race.
It will.
Oh, really? Is it that close for the timer?
I'll tell you why.
Go on then.
Because a lap around China, on those hards at least as far as I've noticed, of course it varies, maybe a percent higher or lower, but around 3 to 4% depending if you're pushing or not. And I'm pretty sure Sager with fresher tires is pushing. So ABD realistically has about 6 to 8% fresher tires compared to Sager.
Okay, that's interesting. Let's see if that really plays out a major part in the battle for the positions.
Yeah, well, that is, of course, the long run. And you guys, the viewers who I'm talking to, will have to stick out till the end to see whose tyres last at the end, because it is a very abrasive track. Punches could be playing a massive part here. And Ink using the DRS, which is playing a massive part in him getting past Deepak right now, going into turn 15. Deepak sticking it round the outside of Ink, or at least tried to. I think they had a wheel banking under the braking there, so Deepak had to succumb to Ink, but Ink is ahead. To be fair, he's on fresher tires. He just has a lot more grip. So I think Deepak should consider pitting at some point, as his tires are getting to that orangish territory, which is about that 60 or so % tire, whereas we can see tires are pretty much dead. FIFA Kanak doing the same down the inside, has a lot more grip, and he will be getting past. Although, if a safety car were to come out now, then Deepak could realistically, I would say he would be in the top 8 still.
Not even top 8, he'll be in top 7, top 6. Yeah, I think Deepak is hanging out for a safety car, because if he does pit now, he'll lose so much time. So I think I personally would hang out as long as I can until it's proper puncher territory.
I agree, but is it really worth it though? I mean, we've only seen a few yellow flags here and there, and that too in places where, it's the runoff. A lot of runoff is there, so there hasn't been any safety cars yet. No one's gone into the wall, and nobody's had wing damage because of hitting a wall. So, it could be a very risky thing to do here, and I guess that is why the hard medium strategy is much better, at least if you're starting within the top 10.
I think Alex is also hoping for the same thing, as he is in the lead of the race right now, but he hasn't pitted yet. And he is also hoping for a safety car, which will really, really help him out in the race.
Certainly, I think he will be, top 3 if a safety car were to come out right now.
Top 5. Yeah, top 5.
Top 5? I mean, Deepak also has to pit.
Oh yeah, Deepak also has to pit. Fair point.
So top 4, maybe top 3, somewhere around that area. So Alex is in a pretty good position right now. Even if he pits, he'll still be out of Deepak, and he has pit. He will come out ahead of Deepak, who is still continuing on, by the way. FIFA Connects is the fastest lap of this race with the fresh hard tires. And he did get a DRS and stuff, and he left his ERS on while going into the pits. That is not good. But yeah, it will be mediums until the end for Alex. Deepak, I think, will obviously, he's just going for that overcut, but I think he will have to pit now, otherwise it'll be kind of way too late for it to even make sense for the mediums to go until the end. That is yellow flags though. Just as we're saying that, Ashray trying to get past Axel Sam. Yellow flags, it's just Alex who's fun, and that caught me off guard, I can't lie.
Oh, that is where he had such a good race till now. That will cost him time, as his tires are ice cold, has no grip. And yeah, it is a very tricky situation, that pit exit, because right as you exit the pit, you're thrown into a corner that needs a lot of mechanical grip.
Yep. And obviously, one thing that does obviously help with the mechanical grip is the tires themselves. And when they're as cold as ice cubes, and of course, you won't have that grip to go through the corner.
Yeah.
You just have to hope no one's around you. Axel Sam has spun out. Is he in the wall? No, he's not.
That's a shame.
I think what's happening to Deepak right now is what I described earlier. And he's like, oh, yellow flags, safety car. Nope, green flags yet again.
I have to say, I think Axel Sam has been properly hit by the good old commentator's curse. I apologize dearly.
Well, you will have to send him an apology after this. Because he's not doing well right now, obviously. Who is doing well right now on those fresh tires despite spinning is Alex, who's side by side with Heisenberg. It's just an easy move. It's like a side-date drive for him.
It has to be said, Heisenberg's undercut really didn't pay off at all, because he was, after the undercut, he came out of the pits, he was right back into traffic, which obviously is the last thing you'd want to have.
Yeah, but so will be Deepak.
Oh, true, yeah, he'll be into a pack, but I think at this point, we'll have fresher tires and he'll be able to fight through the pack, which much more easily, as he doesn't have penalties, and he will have fresh mediums.
Yeah.
So, and he has plenty of laps to fight through the pack, as most of them are hards.
Alex's undercut has worked out thanks to him getting the slipstream and the DRS from other drivers. Sukoyomi, amazing battling from him there, although Deepak has gotten ahead of him. Deepak, of course, he's on the wheel, Sukoyomi is on the controller, so I guess that kind of adds to it, and plus he just has fresher tires and a lot more things to do, and I think 10 more laps to go. Deepak will be absolutely pushing until the end. He's going to try and get at least within the top 8 to finish off here.
I
which
think
would
a
be quite easy
realistic
for them.
target for him would be P7? No, sorry, yeah, P8, P6.
Yeah, that's
I think
definitely
P5 is a bit too far away, but you never know. Safety car will always help him and he will always welcome it.
Or perhaps the driver making a mistake because the safety car is
Yep.
kind of unrealistic. on this
Yeah,
track.
yeah.
Yeah, Deepak still, he's gonna have the DRS on this long back straight here.
Oh,
Now,
there goes
maybe onto the
Guimi on
grass.
grass. Yeah, that
And
should
yeah,
be an
this
easy
should be
overtake.
an easy move over here. Yep, it is. With the DRS, Alex is getting past existence. Alex making up a lot of moves in the last couple of laps. I think Alex could be on for that P6 himself.
Yeah, it really goes to show the grip advantage that the mediums look to have over the hards, which really shows that our mediums might really be the strategy to go for here, as he's making easy pickings off of these drivers.
Yeah, definitely. Considering Alex, he did dump earlier on his outlap, but he has not dumped any of his ERS from then on. It's just pure tire pace, and I think that's really helping him. But I think he should be at least a second faster than the hard runners around him with those fresh mediums.
Oh,
And that is
Heisenberg.
making a mistake.
He
Gets
saved his
good
car.
control of his car, though. Very good car control, of course. And the last thing he wants is damage in his last sprint as well.
Yeah, I would say maybe a DNF. There would be a merciful way to end his race. Oh, PK19 into the wall. Is there any wing damage? No, there isn't.
How? How is this happening? Why is that the safety car? At least one, please. Just need one. That
Can you
was
go on
my
board
thing,
Ink to see how much ERS? Yes, because FIFA Connect seems to have a healthy amount of ERS, but Ink even has more ERS.
Yeah, he's just conserving it. He doesn't really need it. I mean, he's
Looks-
gonna need it now, but yeah,
Yeah,
he's done well to save it up.
The battle for the lead looks to be going all the way down to the line, which obviously is what we want.
Obviously, we want pretty good battling between these guys. That is Deepak. Never mind, that is Faizan in existence. Faizan, yet again, dumping his ERS to get past existence. He has nothing left in terms of ERS anyways. So existence could be coming back quite quickly on Faizan. And so is FIFA Kanak on Ink, to be fair. Ink staying in the lead, but for how long? That is the question.
I would say solid race so far by the Red Bulls, which will definitely help their conquest for the WCC, as both of them are P4 and 5, which is still a large bag of points.
Certainly, considering that the Mercedes guys are stuck in P8, P14 respectively, it is looking pretty good for the Red Bull guys. Even if they're not, P3 and P4 is realistic what they would be aiming for, it's still a pretty solid bag of points, as you said. Deepak sending it down the inside of existence, locking up those tires.
Yeah, he had to there, I think.
But he can afford to do it. He has a lot of tire wear to play for, only 10 more laps, rather actually 8 more laps. His tires will last until the end. He doesn't have to worry
I think the
about
lockup was not really the late breaking. It was him being scared of hitting Faizan. Because Faizan was so close right there.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, it's a mix of both, I'd say.
But yeah, I think sooner or later Deepak will be overtaking Faizan, like down the straight, as Deepak has much more ERS than Faizan. And yeah, this is so far like a simple drive for Deepak, which he will be proud of.
Going from P19 all the way up into P8 now, because he's getting past Faizan. It's still not a bad feat, and considering Alex is just a bit down the road, 5 seconds down the road. But realistically, it could be done if Deepak gets on the pace. Although he is also resorting to dumping his ERS, whereas Alex does have a lot more. So I think a P8, if he can catch up and get a P7, then that. Alex is up into P6 as we're talking about it. Alex having a mega race so far. So I think a P7 could be on for Deepak, considering now that Ashray is in P7. But yeah, wherever Deepak ends up, regardless, even if it's not on the podium, like how I expected him to be, pretty solid recovery drive from him, and I'm pretty sure he'd be proud of it.
Yeah, that prediction was a bit wild, to be fair. Yeah, that was proper. You need every lap to go perfect for him, which would help Deepak. And honestly, F1 sometimes might happen, and most of the time it really doesn't.
Look, a man can dream, alright? I can wait for things regardless if they happen or not. Well, it is still, as you said, yeah.
But like I said, Sager and ABD fighting it out. ABD is back in the DRS range of Sager. As you can see, FIFA Connect coming at Ink using DRS. Does he take it around the outside? He does seem to be able to do it. Will he get better exit? No, he's on the curbs.
Yeah.
But he does get better exit. Wow, okay, he is ahead of Ink. Does he get DRS here or?
Ink has DRS.
Ink has DRS here. Will Ink come back at him? He's very close to him. Does he take it around the outside?
He has
to. It'll be tough. Yeah, he does take it around the outside, but both are still wheel to wheel as they go into here. Ink does have the inside line here, but FIFA Connect should have the better exit here. No, it doesn't. Ink has the better exit here as Ink retains his lead for P1. But FIFA Connect still very close there. Does he take a dive here? He does. He does dive down the inside and Ink expects that and obviously does a switch back on him and gets the better exit. But FIFA Connect still there. Takes the inside line for the SS. Is that an SS? I don't know.
Yes, that is SS.
As FIFA Connect now holds the lead. Now Ink probably can't overtake him until the back straight where he will have DRS.
Yeah, it is a pretty good opportunity for the Ink to save his ERS, well obviously for FIFA Connect as well, but that just means they have a lot more to play with, and that also means that we get to see a lot more racing action as everybody in the back, in the meanwhile, is also catching up to Sager quite quickly here, and ABD could be on for a P3 finish today.
Yeah, which will definitely help him in the WDC and the WDC, which he is near the top for both, I assume.
He is within the top 5. Of course, Red Bull are leading the constructors right now, and Ink is trying to lead the race, but FIFA Connect not yet giving it up.
He does try to do a switch back on Ink. Does he get a better exit? No, he doesn't get a better exit.
Ooh, but you do need to realize that FIFA Connect has used up all of his ERS, whereas Ink has a lot more.
Fair point.
So, Ink could be realistically winning this race by the end of it, but of course, nothing's yet decided. Because FIFA Connect's not giving up just about yet. He has the inside line for turn 1. He's still sticking to the inside line. Ink trying to go for a switchback as FIFA Connect leaves the gap open there. And he's trying to make a move around the outside now going through turn 2. And still not able to hold it. But yes, still fair attempt from Ink. And he does have 40% more ERS compared to FIFA Connect. So I think he's just playing the safer game right now.
Yeah, FIFA Connect does go wide in turn 1, but it plays out very well for him. He has the inside line for the next corner, which really shows that it helped him out as he has kept the lead now.
Yep, he does. And APD has gone past Sager at a very unconventional pace to say the least. But look, a P3 is a P3 still. And now that APD has gone past, the Dark Knight will have to do a lot more work. But if Dark Knight can keep up with the pace, can improve his pace, he could be on for a P4, giving Red Bull that P3 and P4 finish, which could help them out even more in the constructors, as Faizan could soon be overtaken here by Heisenberg. Although Heisenberg does have a 6-second time penalty, but yeah, still a lot more work to do from Heisenberg, Faizan, as well as Ink himself, as he's using none of his ERS, just the DRS, and he's gone past FIFA Connect going into turn 15 yet again.
FIFA Connect trying to attempt the switchback, but no, he gets a bit of a wheel spin there, doesn't get a good exit, but he still will get DRS here, which he will probably use to try to fight it out in the first and middle sector.
Certainly, he is, well, none of them are using his ERS, but I don't think FIFA Connect knows that he has a lot more ERS compared to him. I think he's assuming that he has around the same amounts of ERS, that is why he's, trying to conserve his. Which is a pretty good point. He should be conserving, but at the end of the day, it's not going to matter because Ink still has that 40% advantage in terms of ERS compared to FIFA Connect. He does have a lot more engine power to play with. Sukoyomi getting a 3-second time penalty as he's gone into the pits. So that is a bit weird how he's gotten 3 seconds there and not a 5-second for speeding in the pit lane. But
no, I think the left turn to enter the pit lane. I think might have cut the corner there.
But I also cut the corner and nothing happens to me.
I think by right, that should be track.
That's a bit weird. Could be RNG track now, who knows?
Yeah.
This whole game's RNG. Heisenberg.
Heisenberg goes down the inside of Faizan. Faizan aggressively defending, but Faizan managed to keep the position. That was very, very close right there. As Faizan maintains the lead through the SS, and the next place Heisenberg will be able to fight Faizan is on the back straight.
Yep. Both of them are out of the ERS.
Heisenberg onto the curb.
Out on the curb and he's still wide, and that is major time loss. He's out of the DRS of Faizan. And Faizan can breathe a sigh of relief now.
Very good work by Dan to catch that as well, because that happened the moment he switched over to Heisenberg.
Exactly. Very good work from, of course, our streamer SSJassassin. Big round of applause to him, I guess. Just clap wherever you are if you're watching this right now. And Ink has pulled away a second from FIFA Kanak. I think he started to use up his ERS as well to try and pull away that gap to try and secure his lead. We obviously don't know the situation with track limits, but Ink could be on 2 warnings here, but so can FIFA Kanak. But of course, at the end of the day, we won't know.
Yeah, Sager seems to be fighting back. Can you look at ABD's ERS? Sager seems to have a healthy amount. Let's see how much ERS. Oh, both have about the same amount, so both are in for the fight. But ABD does have slightly younger tires, which I simply said could really play out a major role near the end of the race.
They certainly do, especially when they're getting towards that puncher territory. It does help a lot more. If we quickly go on about Sager again, just to see his tires. Yeah, Sager's tires are slowly transitioning off into the orange parts, which I will remind you guys is about closer to that 40 or so percent mark, about 40-45% mark, whereas ABD's tires are still yellow, which means they're obviously a lot more fresher than ABD's tires, about, I'd say 20 or 30%. So that is helping ABD out a lot towards the end. He's just going to have that more grip, through pretty much every corner, especially through the slow speed corners and that long right-hander as they've just gone past it. It won't help him in the straight line, obviously, because that is nothing to do with tire wear, but it's still a good amount of hope for ABD, and it's not over yet for either of them, as Ink is pulling away a second and a half now away from FIFA Kanak. I think he's using up any bit of ERS that he has left, although he has lost half a second there going through the final corner, if I just say that. So, yeah, the gap between the two of them is increasing and decreasing. It's changing quite a bit, but FIFA Kanak is obviously trying to get close to Ink as quickly as possible. Sager, on the other hand, he is trying to get past ABD as quickly as possible. But of course, as we mentioned, ABD does have that tire wear advantage, and that is FIFA Kanak who spun out.
Oh, no! Very, very bad. Now he has to fight to preserve his P2, which is very, very interesting. I think Ink will now cruise to victory unless he also makes a mistake, which is possible. And let's just hope it doesn't happen. If it does.
I mean, if it does, it's going to just make the race even more interesting now. Heisenberg, I think he's made a mistake, and Heisenberg's tires are not looking good, I tell you that.
Yeah, this is definitely a race to forget for Heisenberg. He is in P11 with still points, but I think he knows that P11 is not a position that he should be at.
Yep, yellow.
More yellow flags in sector. Jose Hero spun into the wall.
And he's still no wing damage.
No, was it into the wall or did it? Oh, just a bit away from the wall.
I think just a bit away, but yeah, no wing damage just yet. What I will tell you now, though, FIFA Kanak's tires are I'm pretty sure going to be overheating, and this is one of those tracks where if your tires start overheating, they will never cool back down, regardless of how slowly you drive. So he's going to have a lot of grip loss right now, which is going to help ABD because he has a lot fresher tires compared to FIFA Kanak as well.
Yeah, this is very interesting. As you can see, we were talking about Deepak a while back, and he does make the move on Ashray, which gives him P7, and the next person ahead, Alex, is a bit too fast. So I think P7 nonetheless is a really, really good result. Now he just has to focus on not losing his position to Ashray.
Yep, that will be his goal, which I think he'll be able to pull off quite easily, to be fair. There's only this is the penultimate lap, just one more lap to go. Won't be that hard of a task for Deepak to pull off. What will be hard for Sager to pull off is try and get past the ABD, because now he's within or very close to that DRS range from FIFA Kanak. FIFA Kanak has overheating tires. Sager has more wear compared to ABD, so ABD is in prime position to get that P2, or at least if he can't get closer to FIFA Kanak, because FIFA Kanak is a slightly faster driver than ABD in terms of pure pace, then he should at least try and secure his P3, which I think he will be able to do, as long as he, of course, does not make any mistakes.
FIFA Kanak is slightly faster, but as you can remember, FIFA Kanak and Ink pitted way earlier than ABD. As you can see, I think there'll be at least a 3-lap gap or 4-lap gap between when they pitted. Can you check that tire condition?
There's about a 3-lap gap, yeah. I did.
So ABD does have a massive tire advantage right now. 3 laps, that's huge, especially around in China. So let's see if that plays a major part here, as ABD has the upper hand in terms of tire wear and ERS.
Yeah,
FIFA Connect has little to no ERS right now, and there's one more lap to go.
how much does ABD have? That is the question. Can
I
you
think
quickly
he had
check?
30 to 40%. Oh no, it's down to 17%, so he's off
Widely
good
dubbed
there.
his ERS.
I think ABD is now focusing on defending from Sager rather than keeping his position, and Sager has double the ERS that ABD has, so this will be interesting. Sager is now very, very close, 2 tenths. Does he try to do the move in the turn 1? He tries to go down the outside. No. Does he
ABD's
take
not deep.
inside here? No, it doesn't. He's playing it safe here. Yellow
Walking
sector
it.
in third sector.
PK19.
Ah, okay. Okay, I think should have goes to there. That should be fine. Sager still very close to ABD, and I think Sager should just focus on staying close to ABD right till the back straight, where he will have dumped every bit of ERS left to try and make a move on ABD.
Yeah. Well, it is getting a bit tricky now. I'm also getting out of words here because I've pretty much used up every single word in the dictionary, I'd say, to try and describe what's happening on track so far. Very eventful 28 laps, half a lap to go though still. The race is still not over. ABD will have to defend. Ink does not have to defend from anyone because he is in P1 by a comfortable margin. He will be winning this race unless his tires explode or he makes a massive mistake going into turn 15, which could cost him quite a bit. ABD, you can see his red light for his fuel indicators flashing. The last thing ABD would want is for him to run out of fuel here going into the final corner. Oh, he is out of the straight line. Sager is indeed closing in. That fuel indicator is still flashing though. ABD could run out on the final corner, which will not help his case. What will help Ink's case is that he will win this race. And FIFA Connect will secure that P2. Very close between ABD and Sager, but ABD just manages to nick ahead with that P3. Only 700ths between the two drivers. Dark Knight driving a pretty solid race himself. P5 for him. Axel, Sam and Faizan still battling it out. Alex P6, very good comeback drive from him. And an amazing comeback from Deepak going from last to P7. Faizan managing to stay ahead just by the nick of things. And he will be taking that P9. Ashray takes that P8. Axel, Sam P10. Heisenberg P11. Not confirmed because he does have a lot of time penalties. Actually, Sai has also 6 seconds worth of time penalties. So his P11 is confirmed. Sai's position is not confirmed, however. Existence is out of fuel. He's ran out of fuel completely. Can he stay ahead? No, but luckily he did not have any time penalty, so he manages to get that P12. Anyways, Sai Tarun P13, Sukhoi P14. Jose Hero will get that P15, BK19 P16. Steel Sneeze and Meroth not having the best of races, P17 and P18 respectively, and Arya Thakur was in air pretty much the whole race because he was not able to join back. So he will be in P19. But wow, an amazing race, especially amazing last few laps. Really entertaining to watch and commentate over. And I hope the viewers enjoyed it as well as the Chinese GP for Tier 2 closes as well.
Yeah, it was a very eventful race. Action throughout the whole pack, in the front, in the midfield, in the back. Action every single where. As you can see, Deepak had an insane comeback drive, which he gets the drive of the day, deservingly so. So did Alex have a really good race. But other than people having good races, a couple of people had a pretty bad race, such as Axel Sam, Faizan, and even who else were a bad race actually? Yes, Heisenberg.
Everyone.
Yes, Heisenberg. Heisenberg also didn't have a really good race, so he had to reflect and see what he can do better in the upcoming race.
Well, yeah, I mean, Heisenberg has shown a lot of promise throughout the season, especially in qualifying, but he has been lacking in the race. And China, as you said earlier, is a race that he will have to forget, unfortunately. It's not like the old F1 races where, you know, the old F1 rules where you could dish away a race if you didn't kind of like it. And it does not happen here, so every race and points matter. Luckily he was still within the points, but of course not the points he was hoping for, although I'm pretty sure Ink was hoping for that win and he's gotten that. Starting from P4 going into P1, not bad for him. FIFA kind of got that pole, but unfortunately could not keep up with Ink towards the end there, especially after making that mistake. He will have to sit for that P2. ABD, amazing drive from him. P3 as well as his teammate P5, P3 and P5, that will help them out in the constructors by a lot.
We'll be waiting for the drivers to come into the VC for their interview.
Yep.
So just hang in there for a bit. So we have 3 podium sitters in the VC right now, Ink, ABD and FIFA Connect. So we'll start with the third place, ABD. So you had a really good race and you finished in P3 with after battling throughout your whole race. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was no doubt that was a great fight from Sager. I think I kind of fucked my strategy by pitting in a bit late, and Sager got the undercut on me. But he definitely gave me hard time getting that position back, and I think everyone saw that it was throughout the race. And finally, I was just very close in getting that position.
Yeah, so that is really good race from you, and it looked like you were really close to FIFA Connect for P2 as FIFA Connect almost made a mistake and almost lost his P2. He was fighting for a P1 and he almost lost P2. So do you think you could have possibly gotten P2?
For a moment, I did dream of it, but I didn't have the ERS for it, and this track, just for one overtake, it's going to consume at least 30 to 35% ERS. So it's just it was just not possible.
Anyways, great race from you, and I think I'll let Simply do the interview for FIFA Connect.
Yeah, sure, I don't mind. Great race from you, ABD, and great race from Red Bull as a whole. I think that's going to help you guys out in the constructors a lot.
Yeah, it was. Dark Knight did very well. He didn't have much time to practice, but yeah, I'm proud of him for getting those points in that position.
Yep, great race from both of you guys. Unfortunately, Dark Knight could not get on the podium, but still amazing race from both the Red Bull guys. Moving on to P2, FIFA Canuck. What a race it was, an absolute roller coaster of emotions, I would say. Getting pole position initially, but just the nick of things, 100th separating you and Sager, and then you had a pretty solid race leading pretty much every single lap until, of course, you started making mistakes and, Ink just got past you. Last few laps, you guys were still fighting, but then you made that mistake, and then unfortunately, you had to succumb for a P2. So talk us through your emotions and your thoughts through all of that.
Yeah, it's a very difficult track, China. You have a lot of forces going through your steering wheel, so it's very taxing on the body. And my left thumb was actually getting a bit sore. So I just took my left hand off a bit for a second, and I made the mistake.
Okay, fair enough. I guess. I get it. It's quite hard to drive on controller in a consistent and a quick manner as you have been. And then, it's fair enough to make that mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. Of course, season's still ripe. We have not, gone to the later stages. We're still in the early stage of the season. You have a lot more to fight out for. So, yeah, P2, I guess you'll still take it at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's much better than my last 2 races, I would say. Didn't overtake the safety car, so big achievement there.
Yeah, I guess that is quite a big achievement.
Yes,
and yeah,
that was our Alpine team briefing. Like, first step, don't overtake the safety car.
I guess every team will have to implement that briefing.
It was highlighted for existence, especially.
Yes, that's why I was saying the Alpine team briefing.
Well, if you know, you know. But yeah, still a pretty solid race from you, FIFA Canuck, and congratulations on the podium.
Okay, moving on to Ink, who is the winner of the race. So it looked like at first your quali was good, but obviously I think you weren't in the top 3 for quali, but you really had good race pace to get you the win. So any thoughts on that, Ink?
Yeah, the qualifying wasn't optimal. I made few mistakes in sector 2 and then last corner. I think I lost the. I wouldn't say pole position. I would have been at least in the top 3 if I had gotten them right. So yeah.
Yeah, you were battling out FIFA Connect really well, and throughout the race you had approximately 40% more ERS. Your ERS management was top notch, as me and Simply were noticing. So, what were your thoughts when it comes to ERS management?
Well, to be honest, in my first stint mediums, I was dumping all my ERS just to get the track position from FIFA. It was a 3-way battle for the win in the first stint. Me, FIFA, and Sager. But Sager made a mistake. Then I saw FIFA Connect struggle a bit, so I thought I could pull. That's why I dumped all my ERS and tried to take the lead. But he had I think he had a much more straight line speed setup, so he was catching back massively, and we were shuffling around. But after we pit, I had on the cold new hards. I thought I had much more grip being on full traction. So I abused it and overtook FIFA and then Deepak. I tried to do a what I call hack in and kind of move, overtake Deepak, then pull away 1 second. But it was good fight. I enjoyed thoroughly, fighting FIFA side by side. We didn't even touch, going through that many corners side by side. It was great fun. I was holding up. I was waiting till the last 3 laps for, let's see who will finish ahead. I thought let's not fight now and let Sage or everybody catch up. I was delaying the fight more and more. But Sager, I think he's a no traction or medium traction. He was losing a lot of time in the last back straight. So that is where I was, gaining 2-3 tenths easily without DRS and DRS to him. So I knew even if the last lap battle happened for the win, I could have, overtaken him through to the last 2-3 corners.
And look like you and FIFA Connect a really good battling from starting from turn 1 all the way till near the end of sector 2. Simply Depth, anything to add on?
I mean, to be honest, I just want to say good race from Ewing, but I do have one question though.
Yeah.
Usually people, when they're especially as quick as you guys, the top 3 who are, consistently ending up on the top 3, they usually go for a different strategy. And obviously, the different strategy on this track being the hard medium. Can you give us an insight into why you didn't go for that hard medium and you just decided to follow everyone else around you with the medium hard?
I thought I was banking on a safety car, to be honest. That is the only reason. I was told by my other teammates also to go for medium hards, don't go for hard mediums. The safety car comes, it'll benefit you, etc., etc. And mediums would have I went a bit high in the tire pressure, to help me with the hards. I think that is where everything mattered between me and FIFA or Sager. I was getting much more grip and I could warm up my tires easily after pitting. And overall, it's a very good race, incident-free, good side-by-side racing and a clean win. After both the wins got taken away. So first win of the season, I'm very happy to get it.
Yeah, well, pretty solid drive from you and congratulations obviously on the win.
Thank you.
And well, fear not guys, the racing is obviously not over. In fact, it's just starting, or rather, it is just starting because we do have Tier 1 still left. Tonight at 8 p.m. to catch the fastest boys in India. Do make sure to tune in then. Of course, all of our social media handles are on our screen. So if you do want to take part in the races yourself, or if you're just a motorsport enthusiast in general, do make sure to join our Discord server. And it's a pretty open place. You might actually end up racing with us. Who knows? Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Of course, the summer is starting, especially in India. So make sure you're keeping yourself hydrated. That is very important. Do not get a heat stroke. And thank you so much for watching. Make sure to once again tune in at 8 p.m. tonight to watch the fastest boys in India go against each other, and of course China yet again. And we'll catch you guys later. Thank you for watching and bye bye.
Bye bye.